getting grown up in here, right? 25 and up. Let me see your ID, baby. Yeah. Nobody move till we say so. It's that 3D radio with TJ Digger and Late to Flow. Real talk on 3D radio. Dress for success, so it's never fail. Grow delivery, so call it Gmail. Stay logged on till it's time to bail. Adults only, so now it's set sail. Don't act like you ain't heard what I said. Go on, little mama, put the kids to bed. Live on the net, you know it don't stop. Time to get loose like you do the wild. Need some advice, you know who we be. Relationship University. So like Marvin on the Mercy Knees.
What you just said. Talk over me. I'm masculine, and because
let them keep going, Jr.
Okay, you think that you're masculine? It's really, honestly ridiculous. Your lack of respect that you think that you can talk over me, and because I'm not allowing that, and I'm calling you out on that, that makes me masculine. It's very toxic and disgusting. Just so you know, and you can be on your high horse, however, but that's a fact.
Wait, hold on.
No, let her rock.
The example that you just said is what he just did.
That's crazy.
Don't say nothing, really. Let him rock. Let him rock. Really, let him rock. Let him rock. Because you know the thing about it is that one of the beautiful things that we witnessing right now is women and their masculine energy. And so what happens is
nobody cares. I'm not even gonna let you talk. Every time you talk, I'm gonna start talking. I don't even care no more. Because I'm over it. Like,
well, it was already in you.
It was already in you.
It's the same 3 points.
I'm over it. Oh, this
is the same 3 points.
Don't say nothing, really. Don't say nothing, really.
Something else to talk about.
Same 3 points, same 3 insults, but can't ever provide.
And we do say good morning, America.
Any documentation.
Look at this savagery
about what you're saying.
Look at this crazy savagery. Look at her.
New script.
This is.
Okay, Kayla. Okay.
Talk about something else.
No, because
figure it out.
She's right, Anton. She's right. Because Anton, I specifically asked you, what is it? You said I'm not going to answer. And then I tried to answer. And then Anton asked
you so much. Improv performance. I appreciate it.
Kayla, if you don't get your Debbie Allen ass up out of here,
I ain't going nowhere. What you gonna do?
I will always try to keep
you get your
she did all the way in there.
I think that's a new rap.
Hold on.
Debbie Allen is the director of the School of Fine Arts at my alma mater, Howard University. So shout out to me.
And who's our sister? Who's our sister?
And the whole artistic family.
Come on, let's talk about it.
No, Rilla, stop trying to throw these chicks a lifeline, please, Rilla, because you keep trying to make light of this situation, and then we not gonna let it go. We gonna continue to beat this until it's dead, bro. The reality is that this was always in them, and the beautiful thing that I've always been able to do. Okay, we already know what's already in you. The devil. The devil. But aside from that, this was already in her, bro. And so one of the things that I've always been able.
Well, the question is, do she ever grow up?
Let's have a conversation. Hey, yo, let's chop it up, man. Hey, yo, let's have a conversation. Hey, yo, may I interject? It's about time for communal reconnect. Power of the we in some type of context. Working on the us so we can hit up what's next. It's that grown brother, grown sister type of flex. More like soul check, not just collecting checks. Fact, not feelings is what we got on deck. Take the high road, so this here is high tech. Getting to the real, everything that we hitting on. Pull up or sit down, tell me what you sipping on. Reclaiming kinghood, that is what we getting on. Real headlines is what we spitting on. So, hey now, yo, let's have a conversation. Maybe take a sec to talk on what we facing. Only way to change is to change the situation. How about we break bread now and have a conversation? Hey now, yo, let's have a conversation. Maybe take a sex talk on what we facing. Only way to change is to change the situation. How about we break bread now and have a conversation? Let's have a conversation. Hey, yo, let's have a conversation. Have a conversation. Have a conversation.
All right, we are welcome back. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are the Real Bravado Network, and this is Have the Conversation. So let's strap in. Let's get to work, okay? My name is Tavares J. Moore, and people who know me personally know me as by TJ. Listen, today is going to be a little bit of interesting topic. I know we've all heard of the Peter Pan syndrome, and we had a whole stream around the whole son husband concept. But the Peter Pan syndrome deals with adults who simply have a failure to launch, a failure to grow up, and we really have spent a little bit of time talking about that when we did our son husband stream about our guys. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how that looks, what it looks like when our ladies fail to grow up or fail to be ladies or fail to transition, and where the mind stays with that, okay? But before we do that, we're actually going to talk a little bit about what the Peter Pan syndrome actually is. And I got on the screen one of the ladies that comes on every week with us, and she's a writer, and she's very, very good. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about the Peter Pan syndrome from an article that she wrote. Fanny, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, yes. Yeah, this is a story that I wrote for medium.com, and it's called Avoiding Peter Pan. Um, the man with the boyish charm. So it starts out saying, I always thought Peter Pan was a mythical character that lived in the land of Neverland. He maintains his boyishness instead of growing up and taking on adult responsibilities. I thought he was just a guy in a Disney movie until one of my best friends became pregnant for the first time. Don't worry, James knows starting a family is a big responsibility, and he will now step up his game and look for a real job. That was said by my girl Denise, a friend that I have been close friends with since the ninth grade in high school. That was how she replied to me when I asked her if her husband was ready now for daddy responsibility. Denise met James 6 months before, and during that time, she had married him, and now she was expecting their first child. I said, are you sure at his age, he still lives at home with his parents, does part time wait staff work, so he does not seem to be very ambitious? Denise responded to me, I know, but he loves me. And when the baby comes, he will get out there and find a better job. You'll see. Denise worked full time in the Human Resources Department, responsible for employee payroll for a state government agency. And at 22, she had done well for herself, which is why I was surprised when she picked James. According to our mutual friends, she was considered to be very attractive. Strangers would often compliment her on her appearance. She was kind hearted and high spirited, making her a joy to always be around with. James was expecting his first child with Denise at the age of 29, and he had never moved out of his parents' home, even when Denise married him. He had worked at the same job since his senior year in high school and refused to work more than part time, which meant he could not support himself. Denise and James had a lot of fun together as they are both passionate gamers. When she married him, she moved out of her one bedroom apartment and in with his parents to be with James. She told me he promised the two of them that the three would soon move out and get their own home. After Denise and James had been married for a little over a year, their little boy was born, and James had made no effort to increase his income in any way. So Denise decided to promptly file for divorce. Denise discovered that James suffered from Peter Pan syndrome, a condition that manifests itself as a lack of adulting. Denise said in frustration, I begged him to grow the up. He refused, so I left. Science Daily says this about the Peter Pan syndrome. The Peter Pan syndrome affects people who do not want or feel unable to grow up, people with the body of an adult but the mind of a child. The syndrome is not currently considered psychopathology. However, an increasingly large number of adults are presenting emotionally immature behaviors in Western society. This type of man has also been described as the failure to launch man. Recall Matthew McConaughey movie entitled with the same name. Son husband is a term often used in the Black community to describe this type of man. According to the Urban Dictionary, the son husband is defined as when a son knowingly or unknowingly takes the role of a husband to their mother, excluding sex. The mother is often overprotective and jealous of her son's serious relationships. This is a common disorder among single moms. The mom of the son husband often does not spend energy or time finding a man for herself because she is grooming her son to take on that role, sans the sexual relations. As the son husband grows older, he can be seen at home with mom, often doing a lot of tasks that a husband may do, like picking up groceries for mom or taking out the trash for mom. Even when the mom is married, she will often take her son's side amid any family disputes. The mom takes on most or all of the financial responsibilities for her son's needs. By adulthood, the son husband is programmed now to cater to mom's needs the way a husband often caters to his wife. I have personally dated the son husband because this man often presents himself as available and may express interest in taking on adult responsibilities, even though he has always lived at home. As a woman, I have practiced what I call the transgression of hope, meaning that I initially ignored evidence that this man is just a child. I secretly hoped son husband would be motivated to grow up by being around my womanly energy. How foolish I was, and I ask you to save yourself and please do not do the same. Son husband can be fun to date. They tend to be more relaxed than traditional men because they have fewer responsibilities. They are available most of the time to you, which is very appealing because what heterosexual woman doesn't want male attention? I give it back to you, TJ. He's muted.
One of the things that we talk about constantly is like the whole son husband or the failure to launch syndrome is really attributed to our guys. But what we don't often look at is or ask the question nowadays is when do we consider our ladies adults? A lot of our ladies walk around acting like, behaving like, and thinking like oftentimes little girls. These are 30-year-old women, 40-year-old women, 50-year-old women. 50-year-old women having hot girl summers, which I find to be completely and utterly ridiculous, but they do. And I think a little bit of this has come from that whole, we got this saying about us that, black don't crack. We talk about it as we age and we still look good for our age and stuff like that. So I think some of that has stunted, I think a little bit of the development of some of our ladies. When I look at the behavior, like we played the clip at the beginning, you saw the ladies and how they were interacting and arguing, and the one girl was kind of dancing and being combative with the lady. That doesn't necessarily represent to me what I would think an adult woman would behave like, even in a disagreement setting with another person. What do you think, Fanny?
I completely agree. Her behavior was very inappropriate. I felt that she wasn't giving the other people on the panel a chance to talk, and she was acting like she was more interested in being the center of attention than she was on being a panel member. That's what she acted like to me.
Yeah,
And
and
that is a sign of immaturity. I mean, I have nieces. I mean, and when they're around 12, 13 years old, they act that way, you know.
and I see a lot of our adult women acting that way. And oftentimes when we talk about somebody being 30, we always talk about how young they are. A 30-year-old woman is not a young woman. Especially when you look at it from a biological standpoint. You're not a young woman. But yet and still, we always try to hold on to our youth, which I can understand that to a degree, but also we don't develop behaviorally either. 30-year-old women should not be behaving and moving and thinking like teenage girls, but often they do. What we saw in that video clip was a lady who was 30. That woman was actually 30 years old. She turned 30 this year, and acting like a child. And that's what's out here. And we spend a lot of time talking about the level of our guys and our guys not acting like men. And we're talking about, and we've been spending this is stream 16 of dealing with her image. And one of the images, or one of my questions is, when do we expect our women to grow up?
Yeah, and no, I understand what you're saying. And I think that it's just something that is prevalent in Western society. I can't say necessarily that it's just exists in the Black community, though. I have seen
But that's all I
some
care
things.
about right now is
Okay,
us.
okay, yeah, yeah.
That's
I
all I
just,
care. The reason why I care about
yeah,
for us is because the behaviors that we exhibit, the way that we are, we have our outcomes are worse than others. So I really don't care about what the Hispanic community is doing, the white community is doing. They don't have the outcomes that we have.
right. What I think about is I don't know if she's a mother or not, but when we as adults act that way around our children, let's say, what kind of example are we setting? That's what I think about, about the next generation. It's our responsibility to provide
Miss
an
Philly, go to
example.
unmute.
Hmm?
I was telling Miss Philly to unmute.
Oh,
Yeah, what do you think, Miss Philly?
I think her response was more so of just wanting to be right about whatever she was trying to get across, instead of really taking the time to comprehend what was being said altogether. Because a lot of times when people react like that, it's just like their way or the highway or no way. So that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think y'all are very right on that. Like it was an immature response to just a conversation.
Okay, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which leads me to, because I'm trying to progress up to something. So we have our women who's supposed to be like a fully formed, developed woman at 30.
Right.
Behaviorally, socially, maturely, and in how she thinks. And when we're talking about our single women out here and them looking for a mate, and they start taking that behavior, that immaturity, that lack of development, and applying what they consider to be their standards to that, how does that reconcile? And then here's the thing: who's above them to try to provide correction? are the ladies that are in their 40s and 50s?
No, because some of those are just as immature.
Are just as immature. I'm glad you said that. I want us to take a look at something real quick, and then we're going to comment on that. Hold on a minute.
Black men earn that amount of money. And the ultimate question is, if 100% of women want men in this area, can you get one? And the answer is no. That's what it comes down to, because you're SMV.
I'm going to let that ride twice.
Size, what do you look like? A fresh face out of the shower, no makeup, your natural hair is average. You can get a man making about $40,000. $41,500 is what you get as an average woman, no matter how you slice it. So this is what I want you guys to understand. That conversation is the problem, because so many women today are in another world when it comes. It is all theory and wishes. $80,000, even at $80,000, which is a ridiculously low number, only 15% of Black men earn that amount of money. And the ultimate question is, if 100% of women want men in this area, can you get one? And the answer is no.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have taken that shortcut. But now I can get new tires at TireRack.com and get free.
If he made 80, you couldn't work with 80. 6 or more.
Just fine with me.
Average is fine with you. Does he got to make a certain amount of money?
I make 6, so he has to make 6 and more.
Woo! 6 or more.
Yes.
Pamela, if he made 80, you couldn't work with 80.
That'd be a tough one. It'd be tough.
Okay, 6 or more. Okay, what's the age range you would do? You're 60.
I would take 56 to about 72.
Okay, 56 to 72. So you're retired. So your retirement money is more than about 6 figures a year.
All my income is more than 6. Yes.
Oh, you're retired. So you have other income. Is it from your, like, I don't know, your marriages?
No, I was in the military for 12 years.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I have a little bit of that too.
Okay. So out of curiosity, you meet a guy, great companionship, but he makes $5K.
That's gonna be hard.
Tell me why.
Because the simple reason is I like to travel and I have my passport. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to be able to travel and go. And I don't need to be him counting his coins to see if he can make it or not. I'm ready to go.
So we've been talking about this earlier on Instagram, and you're older than me, so I can't school you on nothing. But I do want to just give you the opposite, right? So the opposite version of you, a man that makes a certain amount of money, 6 figures, he doesn't mind making a woman less because he's going to probably pay for it, right? So the challenge becomes when the woman is in that position of the man, you don't want to date someone that makes less. But the guy that's you, 6 figures and up, he'll date a woman that's going to make $30,000 or whatever, because in his mind, I'm a provider, I'm paying for it. So what happens is women who make 6 figures and above, the challenge is becoming the men that make what you make. Sometimes, they have so many options, the option of you, the option of less than you. So I'm not telling you what to do with your life because it's your life. But I don't know what you make. You might make high 6 figures, and that's why $85K is not something you can even entertain. So,
I wouldn't cross off the books, but he gonna have to come with his game. He gonna have to come with it.
Okay.
I mean, I've been doing this for a long, long time by myself. So you need to come with it.
This woman is 60 years old. She's retired. Her retirement income is a decent income. And a man who makes $80,000 a year is not good enough for her. We just saw Kevin Samuels in the previous video give the statistic that only 15% of men make $80,000 or more. 15% of all men. And she's 60 year old, and then we have our ladies out here having the same set of standards, and not somebody of an upper generation saying, hey, let me just go through it a little bit. When you dismiss a man who's making, I'm just going to say up to 80, I would say between, let's go $50,000 to $80,000, that range. Do people not understand what kind of men, what kind of professions earn that kind of money? We're talking our school teachers, our principals, our nurses. We got a lot of male nurses now, believe it or not. Our community leaders, like people who work for the Urban League or social service agency, case managers, firefighters, police officers, construction workers, the men who build, the guy who comes out in the middle of the night or the middle of the storm when the power goes out. That's a $50,000, $60,000 a year man. The men who build and sustain infrastructure, your day-to-day life, the men who build and sell you your cell phone that you get online to be able to spew this nonsense. Those men, the building blocks of the community, they're not worth it to her. And she said now she's been single her whole life. No feedback? Go ahead, Miss Philly.
Okay, my take on I get what she's saying. I really understand what she's saying. Like, she wants to make sure, no matter, even at the level that she's at, she wants someone who's able to provide for her.
Why?
But it's so, to me, the focus is more not even on wanting to be happy, wanting to be in love, like loving the individual for who they are. It's more so about, okay, what your pockets look like. To me, anybody else? To me, that's what the focus is on. Just, okay, he got to make more than me. It got to be this or it's nothing. So it's like, it's going to be this, or I'm just going to continue to be lonely for the rest of my life. And that's, I guess that's why I was kind of blown away, because to me, even if he's making, $1,000 more or whatever, he's still able to take care of you. I know men who make less and they still are providers. So, it's just the mindset of the individual, I guess, too, and where they are.
We just focus everything around money.
The focus is just so much around money.
We forget about love. We forget about when money is gone. We forget about what else the person have. We forget about all that. We forget about the memories that we can make, the things that we can create together. We forget about all that stuff. We forget about pulling that stuff out that's on the inside of them that they may have deep down inside of them that's just sitting back and just need to be, just tapped into. We forget about all that. We looking at the present, and we look at the now, and we forget about the could be. Man, you forget the power that you have. Man. Like, we focus on so much in this world we forget the bigger picture. Like, we so caught up on material stuff. We caught up on looks. We caught up on name this, name that, name this, name that. It's just crazy. Like, she worried about being able to fly in and out of places. Okay, well, buy him a ticket. If you want him to fly with you, buy him a ticket and show him how you got that, so he can get that too. If this who you want to be with.
Right. I'm just saying. I'm with Angela. I feel the same way because if she's already at that great level of income or whatever, and wherever he comes in it, like I said, even if it's $100 more or whatever, I mean, they should be able to come together to continue to make great things happen. Like, and
I'm
like
saying
Angela
you gotta
said,
have something else on that list
it's okay
outside
to treat him like.
I'm saying what else you got on your list outside of the monetary thing, outside of the money? What
Right,
else is on your list? Do he meet anything else on your list?
right.
Do
Does he
anything
make
else?
you happy? Does
Can
he
you
make you
check off
smile?
anything else? That's the question you need to be asking. Can we check off anything else on that list? Yet she's steady focused on that one thing, being able
Money.
to check off the stamps on
Right.
on that passport. You can't
Let me
stamp on that
let me
passport. She's now town said nothing about no mortgage. I guess her house paid for. She now town said nothing about no food, so I guess she ain't planning on eating. I'm saying she just talking about flying in and out of the country, being able to go this place at the drop of a dime. That's all I heard. I'm saying I may be out of
Yeah.
line. I may be in the wrong place too. Well,
I don't
correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Put me in my place because I think I may be one of the younger ones on the panel. So put me in my place if I'm out of line.
Yeah, but I don't fault her, by being retired, want to be able to be a little bit more mobile. However, when you start looking at, she's well over 6 figures, whatever that means, when you start looking at when Kendra was like, you can't accept a man who makes 80K, and she says no, that do she not know she disqualifies basically 95% of all men? Black men,
Well,
white men.
she in her 60s, and then we talking about in your 60s, you getting ready to retire. Ain't no man out here trying to make no $100,000, and he getting ready to retire. He trying to see how much he got in his savings. He trying to see how much he got in his 401k and how much he got in reserve. That's what she better be looking at.
But
now she don't know what he got in reserve. She worried about what he bringing in, and she don't know what he got in reserve. He could have well over there in reserve.
This lady is
and
60.
don't even know.
So our women
But
that
you
are
don't know what he got saved.
hold on, Angela.
We talking about what he make a year. We ain't talking about what he got saved and what he's sitting on. We talking about what he bring home a year. That's what y'all said.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Angela. We have a lady that's 60, and our women between the ages of 20 and 40 are watching this and going, "Yeah, girl, I know what you mean." But the vast majority of our Black women are single by themselves. She's single by herself. She's on a dating show.
But she ain't looking for nobody young. She ain't looking for them young folks. She looking for somebody her age, I should hope. You 60. You ain't looking for nobody in their 20s. You ain't looking for nobody in their 30s. So a lot of these people that we've been talking about, they already disqualify them for what she's looking for from the beginning.
She's looking for the money. Whoever got the money at this point.
Here's the $1 million question. What man who earns on that level wants a 60-year-old woman that he didn't grow old with?
Right.
Somebody in the same boat she in. Somebody the same. I mean, you got some 60-year-old men that's still out here that's still single or maybe widow or whatever. Maybe going through. So
how many 60-year-old men that earn on that level want a woman like her?
Man, the folks trying to retire. The folks ain't trying to earn on no level. They trying to see what they got in their reserve so they can see what they can do on the backside. They ain't trying to start over.
Yep.
They ain't trying to rebuild nothing. They trying to live off what they already got.
Angela's on one. Miss Fanny, what do you think?
Yeah. There's so many ways that a man can provide. I just thought that she's extremely, extremely narrow-minded in her thinking, is what I thought. He can provide a sense of humor. He can provide different perspectives to me. He can bring, fun to my life if my life is too serious. I mean, there's so many different ways. Now, I think I didn't hear her say this, but sometimes when I hear women really overly focused on the money part, is what they're actually saying is, I don't want to get played. I don't want to be some sugar mama.
I'm not interested in the excuse. It's a poor.
I think that's, but that's
It's so
part of it.
low too.
Even you don't have to earn six figures to have had experience with a man trying to take advantage of you in some way, especially financially. Unfortunately, so that's maybe where she's coming from, but she's being very narrow-minded.
But here's the thing: I'm talking about the maturity. Being a woman, this is a 6-year-old woman who's supposed to be guiding, developing, mentoring women that are coming through, and she's still sitting around talking as if she should be having not necessarily hot girl summers, but looking at a man through a very superficial means. At 60 years old, a guy's income should be enough to take care of himself. There's no more family to be raising at 60, so you don't need all of that. There's no more all of that. There's just none of that left. And at 80, let's just say she made 120 and he made 80. Don't you know after taxes, that's the same money? They don't. Come on now. We all pay. I mean, that's $80,000 in the 110, 120. You should deduct her taxes. There's probably only about a couple $1,000 difference between what you bring home. You know what I mean? So it's not like, that 80 grand. But I'm just saying it disqualifies, even if there is a man in his late 50s or 60s that would be interested in her. And later on in the clip, Kendra, because she does this thing called the Kendra Cam where you got to get up and show your body. She starts semi-twerking and twirling around. 60. At what point?
Okay.
At what, you want to see it?
Yeah, play that.
Hold on a second.
Say what?
And boop. Okay, all right, let's continue. You say let's do the Kendra Cam. Now it's time for see your full body.
Okay, here we go. And I'm like you, I got my pajamas on. So I do go to bed.
Pajamas.
Okay.
Pajamas?
Okay, you look good. We can tell because you have beautiful skin. Yes. So Pamela, was your marriage your last relationship?
I'm sorry?
Was your marriage your last relationship?
Yes.
Okay. Now you don't got to answer this question, and I know you've grown, but you're still gonna get the question.
I know.
When was the last time you was intimate with someone? You don't have to answer.
It's been a minute, but I don't know if you count this one. I say about maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
3 or 4 months ago. Okay. So this is Pamela. She'll date 56 to 72. Does the guy got to be in South Houston? No, he don't.
Well, to be fair, TJ, she wasn't actually twerking. She was just kind of doing a slight modeling.
Yeah, right.
No, that's not a twerk.
Yeah, she was posing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her whole thing turned me off. So that's probably why I just didn't like any of that from her. But my overall point of it is the mindset, the maturity. When do we consider our when, as Black folk, when do we consider each other adults? When are we an actual adult?
You have to get around like-mindedness.
Like-mindedness.
Like you just have to find your tribe, because I mean it's a long road out there.
Well, this is what gets me. Yes, she's 60 years old, but you have to want to be with somebody. Because, like with my first husband, he had money. He had 2 jobs. He kept money, but I ain't see 1 cent. Not 1 cent. Now, you want to get somebody with some money, get somebody with some money, but what kind of situation you gonna be in? Now, the husband I got, give me everything. Just, you know what I'm saying? And I have peace, I have joy, I'm enjoying myself. Everybody gone. It's just my husband and I, and we are enjoying ourselves. So you got to ask yourself, what kind of relationship do you want? Or you want a relationship where you want money all the time? I mean, or do you want to be happy? Me, I want to be happy. I love my peace. I love if I want to go somewhere I can. I'm not cage up in a box. But some people are so caught up in one little thing. Their eyes just focus on that. They can't see anything else. And they miss out. And she's missing out in life. And she talking about she wants somebody, but somebody gonna look at her attitude and say, I don't want you.
And here's the thing: a lot of ladies who tend to earn, they always say, I want a man on that level because they're around men that make that kind of money. If you are a woman that's making mid to high six figures, you're around men that make your environment is mostly men. So the question, so the question becomes, if that's the man you seek, and you're in that environment with all of those men that make that kind of money, why aren't they choosing you?
Because most of them are married already. Yeah, they already have.
Because most men are married already. No.
I think that most men, if they see women making the same thing that they're making, they're threatened by that. That's what I personally feel. I think that if a man is making 100 and some odd thousand and a woman is around him and she's making the same thing, no, he's not going to probably want to be with a woman that's making the same thing that he's pulling in. He would probably want a woman that's making less. You made a statement earlier about the woman who got up and she stood and you felt as though that she was tweaking. Suppose that that woman that just got up was 90 years old and she got up and did the same thing. How would you have felt about it? You would have probably said, oh, that's cute that granny can get up like that. Well, somebody at 60 years of age is a granny as well to somebody else. So somebody else may look at her and say, oh, go ahead, girl, and stuff like that. That could be maybe like 20 years old, would think that that was cute too. So I think that we have more of a problem with the generations that we came in and the expectations of that generation. For her, I'm not going to excuse what she said. I'm not at all excusing what she said, but I believe that what she might be looking for is somebody who is already established by that age. She's probably hoping that they would already be established, but it's also nothing wrong with working with someone as you're building together to make that point as far as the salary that she has. You can look at some celebrities who have, and I'm not calling out any basketball players, but they have been with these young ladies since high school, and they were playing high school basketball, and they became these big celebrities, and they're still with those same women because they came from the beginning with them. But then there's those that was with those same women that left those women after they became successful. So it just happens on so many different planets that we are looking at money and we're looking at it in the wrong way. If life was free, what would you be looking for? What would she be looking for? Life was free. She can travel, it wouldn't cost her anything. If she could eat, if it wouldn't cost anything of a house, if she have to worry about that, no. What would she then be looking for in a man?
What I want to go back to, Ms. Diamond, is what you said at the beginning. You said that a lot of men that make that money don't want women to make on that level. Here's the thing. I respectfully disagree with that assessment. Now, in general, are there some guys out there that don't want that? Yes. But generally speaking, in women who are on that level, who are in that arena, you know, in the professional world and economically in that arena, typically the reason why those men won't deal with those women is because they come across as hard to deal with.
I think those men think that they're hard to deal with because of the process they had to go through to get to where they're at. And it was probably the man that put them through that. So they're guarded already by the time they reach that level.
That's not those men's. That's not their job to care about that. The thing is, she's the one looking for that mid to high six-figure guy. If that's what she wants, then here's the $1 million question. You can want what you want all day long. But here's the thing. Do you know what those men want? And are you providing what they want?
But that's just one woman that was speaking. She may be speaking at the level that, look, I'm going to enjoy my money because I can't take it with me.
Which is perfectly fine.
It and we can enjoy it together, and we're enjoying it.
She didn't say that. She doesn't want a man that does not. She cringed at the thought of a man making $80,000 a year.
Exactly. And I understand that she may have cringed for that, but we're getting back to what you had mentioned as far as a woman making the same amount and how a man will feel. I still feel as though a man and a woman that's making the same amount of money, there's going to be a problem. And look at what happened when we watched Martin. He thought Gina was making more money than him. The brother had a meltdown.
That's a TV show.
But it's reality, though.
It happens in
It
real
may
life.
be a TV show, but some producers put it together because they may have consulted with some men as far as how they felt about a woman making more than him. She didn't even want to let him know that she was making, but her friend Pam bursted it out because she knew how he would feel.
I think as a guy, being around guys who earn that kind of money, and I'm around them, they're in my inner circle, and they're on the outside of just outside of my inner circle. That is not the mindset of those fellas that make that kind of money. Those men typically do not care what the woman makes. They care about the woman's behavior, attitude, and mindset.
Okay, so how does a man feel that a woman, say that same man that made $80,000 and he sees this young lady and he wants to be involved with her, I don't even care what her age is, and then he finds out that she's his boss and she's making more money than him, how is he going to feel? Is he okay with the relationship?
We don't care.
Or if he finds out, you think that?
In general, men don't care what our women earn, what our women do. We typically don't care. We don't care because we typically will not have access to it, and it's not ours to do anything with. What we care most about is how when men. Here's the thing: a lot of our ladies get into this cycle of thinking or picking men the way that they select a mate, but they don't understand that men don't select women the way you select a man. We just don't. You guys select.
Not a woman to say how a woman selects a man, because all women don't select men the same way.
No, of course not.
But it's generational. With men, it's across the board. Just like you were saying earlier before the show about how a man will take his son to do something. That's across the board. But with women, it's generational. It does separate with the way that we do things. With men, your age, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger. It's across the board. But with us women, and there's a difference in the age here with some of us on the panel, it's grouped together with certain women in certain age groups, they think one way. Another group, they think another way, and they look at men totally different. But once you get to that point, now she's about the same age that I am. I don't think the way that she does at all.
But here's the thing.
There's a handful of us that don't.
And here's the question. Are you the way that this woman, which is typical for our black women between, I would say 20 and her age right now, what's typical out here is that mindset. But then I ask the question, fine, think, feel how you want to. What outcomes are you producing based on that?
What outcomes?
Yes. Are you getting what you claim that you want? Now, this is a 60-year-old woman.
Oh, okay.
This particular lady.
I don't believe that the outcome is what is really expected because the standards are too high. I listened to what she said about the fact that she would not accept a man who was making $80,000. That would be a big stretch for her or what have you. But in my opinion, and this is my personal opinion, I believe that she would really be missing out on many great opportunities for love and adventure and all the things that she says that she desires to do. Okay, she desires to be, to want to be able to pick up her passport and fly off and do whatever she wants to do at the drop of a dime. But who's to say that a man making $80,000 is not able to provide that? So, I think that when we get to a certain level of making a certain amount, we put these artificial standards on what we think we want because we don't want to be in a position, okay, this is my money, this is what I've earned, I work hard for this, I worked hard to get where I am. And that's true. Yes, I want to maintain my security, but at what cost? Love is worth the risk. And sometimes you have to take a risk in order to be in love. So who's to say if I'm making six figures and my husband is not making six figures that we can't come together? Because when we get married, we become one. So it doesn't matter who's making the most money. It's our money.
Last week. I said that last week. If you
It's
decide to
our
marry
money at that point because we are one.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Can I say something back to what TJ was saying about the men and how they feel about money? Can I say something? Yeah. So what you were saying, I'm sorry, I have to kind of piggyback off of what Black Diamond was saying. Every woman that I have known, okay, pretty much, when she starts, especially within the Black community, I respect what you were saying about the men that you know, but every woman that I have known that when they start, their income starts increasing, or they start getting promotions on the job, that is when they started having issues a lot of times in their relationship, in their marriage. You know, if she starts out earning him, you know,
how has her but do you know how their behavior towards their husband have changed? Because I was married to a woman who out earned me, and that behavior in that household was absolutely brutal.
Yeah, I agree with TJ on that. I have to agree with him to a certain degree, because when we start making more money and we get to a certain status, we tend to take on that role of I'm the provider. You know, hey, you know, I make more money than you. I can buy you. Basically, it's sometimes the kind of attitude that we take on. You don't really tell me how to do this or what to do with my money, because you know you're not the breadwinner at that point, because I'm the one that's really, you know, bringing home the bacon at this point, because you don't make as much as I do. And I know people that have been in that situation to where when the role is reversed to where the woman began to make the money, the total attitude and atmosphere changed, and it ruins marriages if we do not know how to be submissive and understand that we are one. And no matter how much we make, the husband is still the head of the house. It's not the fact that I may be making the most money, so I have control and I have the biggest voice in the house, or I can take more control. The fact is, my husband is still the head of the house. He is still the one that God placed in the order. So therefore, I still have to be submissive, regardless to whether I make $1 trillion and he makes $1.
Yeah.
I have to be submissive to him.
Let me tell you the most craziest thing this woman ever said to me one day, because she out earned me during the dating, during the marriage. She out earned me at that point. This woman one day, she's just angry at me about something. She's very angry at me about something, and then she says to me, she goes, "If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have a place to stay." And hold on a second. What was bizarre about the statement? We were standing in the home that I moved her into with me, that was mine, when we got married. So I understand that women, I'm not saying your friends are not, because trust to believe what our friends share with us sometimes might not be the full story. Because a lot of times with women, especially our women, when the more money they get, the more they feel like they are equal and on par. And I always tell our women, you're not equal. Your role is different. It's powerful. It's necessary, and it's vital, but you're not equal. Not in the way that you guys think. You know what I mean? Because, and I've talked about a lot of times what our role is as the husband or the head of the home, what our actual role is. And so that money thing becomes an excuse when you behave badly. To me, I don't know this lady on this clip from a hole in the wall. I don't know if she behaved badly, but I think because I started the clip kind of late, she was married. She divorced her husband like a couple years ago. Been married to the man for 20 something. Why would you walk away? Why would you walk away? What is it that you can't keep? What was he not making And a lot of our women want to push our men to make more, but not looking at what they're actually doing. If you got a man who's a teacher, he's only going to make a certain amount of money. And if he wants to be a teacher, that is a foundational piece to our community. That's a foundational piece to your home, to your family, to your kids, to you. How do you just undervalue that man because his chosen life profession will never reach a six-figure thing unless he becomes a principal or some kind of administrator at the central office of the school district?
I think some of this is that we're missing some of the parts. We're hearing some parts of some people's stories, and I'll use what you just said. You could have that couple where he's a teacher and she's whatever it is that she's doing, and in the beginning of their relationship, she knew he wanted to set out to be a teacher. He knew that she was setting out to do whatever it is that she wants. In his career, maybe that's as far as he wanted to go, to just be a teacher. She wanted to keep going to be, maybe she started off as a paralegal and then she wanted to be an attorney, and everything was cool. Certain things open up for women that they may not open up for men, but things will change in a relationship. He may have been okay with that. Maybe he is that perfect Mr. Whoever, Mr. Cooper, who is okay because he is that teacher that those kids need, but she still wants to go on, and okay, she's going to make more money, but things started to shift. He may have said, I want to be a principal in the beginning of their relationship, but he ran into that one student that he just could not lead. And he felt as though that there was a whole community that he needed to be there for. So he stayed in that position. And she continued. Should she not continue with what she wanted to do just to make him happy?
No, she should absolutely she should do exactly what she was supposed to do, but that does not change your role in the house because you get.
You're saying that it may not, but it would change his attitude though, because he may be thinking that, well, I stayed still with where I'm at. Why did you go on? If you knew that I was staying still.
That's a crazy way of looking at something. If you are
it's many different ways. It depends on the relationship and what they brought into the relationship and what they said to each other. And the way that they planned their thing. You just can't fault just the woman because now she's taking on a different role.
Well, I'm not
or the
faulting her.
role that she said that she was going to go after in the beginning. Things change in the relationship.
What I have a problem with is the attitude and the mindset. I don't care. Me personally, have never cared about how much or what she wanted to do or my lady needs to do professionally. I encourage her to do whatever it is you want to do. You want to go build the next Amazon empire or the next month, fine. I'll support you through that. If I got to take out 2 or 3 mortgage on the houses to do that, I will do that. It doesn't matter to me.
How many men are actually doing that though? Some of them are not supporting them when they start to climb that ladder. And sometimes they may feel certain ways because sometimes those men are saying little snotty things in the background too that they're hearing. And it just gets to the point that she's going to keep pushing forward because she's starting to see that breakaway and that tear away of the relationship.
If that's a problem, let me tell you something. If that's a problem, especially with the confines of the marriage, the moment the wife is equally responsible for the success of that marriage as that husband. If she sees that there's a change in her husband, it is her responsibility to you pull the emergency brake. You stop whatever it is and you address it. Now, if it gets to the point where, or if a situation that he can't deal with or that he can't support, then he got to make a decision about if this is the actual woman for him. He needs to move on, or maybe down the line she needs to make that decision. But however, the thing that tends to happen the most is when the woman starts to outpace their man economically. The behavior in the home changes. Why do I gotta come home and still cook you your meal? Why I need a meal too? Why do I gotta come submit to you? There are multiple. I understand that there are multiple issues and multiple variances that can happen. But the bottom line is with our ladies, when it comes to selecting them in, here's the crux of it. We are woefully apart. Period. Full stop. We are woefully unmarried. 33% of black men are married. 25% of black women are married. That means 75% of black women are not married. Period. That means nearly 70% of black men are not married. Period. What are we doing out here? We're holding
I
on to
understand what
we're
you
holding
say.
on to these we're holding on to these superficial things as if that actually what makes our community a community. And this is what has happened over the last, I would say, 60 years, over her lifetime. That's happened. We were never like this. And we're gonna actually, when we get into the Queen Mother thing, we're gonna start examining the last 60 years. What happened with us? But back to my original question, because we've asked it a couple times with our guys about when do we expect our women to be an adult, to be adult in how she thinks, how she moves, how she operates, and how she mentors. When do we going to expect our women to be an adult? All right, let's wrap up this conversation. We'll hang back for the after stream. Hold on, Chris. We're going to do the after stream. I want us to look at something in the after stream. Okay. Thank you, everybody. This was fun. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, Dr. Thomas, go ahead and unmute for me. Christy, you can go ahead and unmute, and you too, Angela. That was a good discussion. What did you guys feel about it?
I really enjoyed that. Really.
I respect it because everybody has opinions and nobody gets overheated about it, like what we've seen in other places, and the maturity is definitely here in this group. Yeah, I see it because I'm listening to everything that you send us, and we seeing people are up out of their seats, people pointing and throwing hands up, and I'm just not for all of that. And I see that we have good conversations in this, and I appreciate you all for having those conversations.
You know what this kind of conversation keeps reinforcing with me is the fact that we as Black men and Black women, we need to really embrace the fact that we need a, you know how like FDR created the New Deal for the American society. This keeps reinforcing that for Black men and Black women, we need a New Deal. We gotta, and we both have to come to the proverbial table as honest brokers. We need a New Deal. I am fully aware that things will never go back to being completely traditional and stuff like that. That's not lost on me. That's not going to happen. But we got to figure something out. You guys see what's about to happen in Illinois after the first of the year. If you don't know what it is, look up the Safety Act. It's safe in the word T Act for Illinois. And what that means is the fact that they're about to eliminate cash bail, meaning people who commit crimes won't be taken to jail.
Wow.
And what that means for the most vulnerable group of people in this country, which are Black women. No man in the house to protect you, and you got a system now that's saying it's a free-for-all. We need a New Deal with one another, you know, and yes, these conversations help that. We get the different perspective. We can disagree about the certain things, and we know things are multi-layered with us, you know what I mean? And it's not all or one thing, but there are some basic breaks that have happened with us that we got to deal with, because before we can even get to even creating a new deal. When I was trying to salvage my marriage, I said to her, yeah, let's salvage this, but I don't want nothing like what I just came through. We need a new deal. And she never agreed to a new deal because things were working for her.
She's got a taste of the water.
They weren't working for me. And she kept saying things were fine, things were fine. And I would tell her, how you say things are fine when you left me 3 times? There's something about me that's not working. We need a new deal. Because obviously what we set up didn't work. So you need somebody who's an honest broker. Black folk, we need a new deal. Black men need to either develop a plan or develop a new deal for our women, with our women. We need a new deal.
For sure. Absolutely.
One thing that I know, TJ, is that once for women that have been vulnerable and we have felt that we have never had power, when we are allowed to get some power and we finally break free and hey, I'm on top, men never get that power back in relationships. If you allow us to get the power, we don't give the power back that easy.
No. And I'm proof of that. I tell everybody, anybody who I talk to about, like my marriage, I tell them all the time, that marriage failed because I was ill-equipped to manage it. And that's, a lot of women get a little shocked when I tell them that. They're like, what? I'm not saying what she did was justified. Oh, her behavior was atrocious. But I was ill-equipped to manage that kind of behavior. And here's the thing. And in managing that kind of behavior was also recognizing that I needed to cut her loose. And I didn't do it. So yeah, I agree with you. Once you give the power.
There's so many entities that you were fighting along with just her.
Yes.
Other people with other things. I don't know what happened, but I'm quite sure other things got involved. And that's probably what happens in a lot of relationships. Other things, other people getting into your ear, just environments. It's just so much that just the equation is just different. Things are not adding up. It's like a math problem. Things are just
hard.
not adding up anymore.
That was a hard. And I tell everybody, she's a charming woman. We'll never not say that she wasn't a charming woman. She's very friendly. She would fit in good with all you ladies. But as a wife, my God. But I was ill-equipped to understand what I was dealing with at the time. We definitely need a new deal. We need to figure something else out. It's getting late. I was gonna play something, and I'll probably just say, we won't be meeting next week. Schedule ain't gonna allow it. I'm in the hospital for a great amount of days next week. But what I was gonna do for the after show today, we'll do it the next time we meet up. But yeah, this was fun. I thought this was a good conversation, and usually the ones that I don't end up writing out, which I didn't write this one out because I couldn't figure out how to get my thoughts together, end up being, I think, the better ones. And thanks, Fanny, for the Peter Pan story. That was pretty cool.
Sure, absolutely.